One. All right. We're live again, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 3 of Ascension. So last time we talked to you was all about finding the antidote for a toxic relationship and how you can kill yourself and get out of that. Today's episode is going to be the follow-up for that. Once you get out of that relationship, how do you raise the bar and set the standards for your future ones? I think that's something that's really important. But just like all things in life, you have to balance them. Because once you become too military in a relationship, things can start to get really toxic again. So how can we raise the bar and not only hold our partner to high standards, but make sure we're holding ourselves to high standards as well, and not being too military about this thing either. Now, so let's just dive into it right now. Let's just talk about why should we even set standards in a relationship in the first place. Do any of you want to tackle it first? You want me to go with it?
I think a standard in a relationship is good because people need standards in every aspect of their life. So, I mean, one time I heard Tony Robbins talking about body standards. He said, if you look in the audience, bless you, everyone has a standard of how they'll let their body. Some people let it go. I was watching a show with my best friend, My 600-Pound Life, and this one lady said, once I get to 800 pounds, I'm going to do something about it. That was her standard. But in relationships, too, someone's standard is, okay, if I get punched in the face, then I'll leave. Or if he does this or does that. And so
those standards are really low.
Those are really low. But or the standard be he must make this a certain amount of money, or they must give me this much attention. And so having standards of how you're treated, I think, is very important. But I also think people need to be open on the growth process. Like my husband has changed a lot since he met me. But ever since I met him, he had a desire to want to be his best self. And if there's people that don't want to be their best self, there's nothing you can do about it. And you'll just be an egg.
I also think the standards is a good thing. But you also, like Doug was saying, you have to raise your own standards. And you have to compromise. There's when you're in a relationship, and you work with each other to grow, like you were talking about, you and your husband. What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better myself. I think the only way you can really set standards for a relationship is by getting treated by someone who doesn't respect any standards at all. Someone who doesn't have any fucking boundaries. Someone who is willing to punch you in the face. Because people they'll do as much shit as you let them get away with. Mm-hmm. Like if you let your partner act a certain way and they continuously get away with things that you don't approve of or you don't like or you feel like that disrespectful, they're just going to continue to shit on you constantly.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, when in my relationship too with my husband, me and him were both ex-toxic people. And we had to learn how to have love and respect for each other. And some of the times, like if we got in a fight, I made it clear, like no matter how mad we are at each other, we don't talk behind each other's back and go and call and complain about it. We keep our relationship between us. We don't leave each other somewhere. Like if I'm mad at you, I'm going to leave you stranded. Mm-hmm. We have like an unwritten rule that no matter what, even if we're mad, we're always going to be there for each other. If someone has to go to work, someone's not going to be like, oh, well, drive yourself. I'm not helping you because I'm mad. And so we set that up. And I think people in relationships should have standards of, even if we're mad, we're still going to respect each other. We still don't call each other names. We don't say this. We don't say that.
Yeah. Well, you should never talk about bringing up divorce. Sorry.
No, I was just wondering, like, how did you set that up? Have like a written contract,
No,
not
he
really,
would.
I'm just saying, like, let's say you had something written down.
She made him sign the dotted line.
Yeah, I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm just saying, like, something they say with like certain goals. Like if you write them down, there's a more likely chance that you're gonna accomplish it. So I was just wondering if you guys kind of.
So it was never a thing of where we're gonna write this down. It's where some of the boundaries are being tested, and it. I said, hey, we don't talk to each other that way. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not some girl you met at the club. I'm your wife. There's a difference. You dedicate, we're different. Also, too, some people think it's fun in a relationship to like kind of mock each other or put each other down in a jokey way, or like,
No.
you have this. I don't
Yeah.
think, for me personally, that can go sideways real
Yeah.
quick, and I
For
don't think
sure.
that's healthy in relationships.
And it like chips away, I feel like those little nags, like on its face, they may not seem like anything, but over time, over months, over years, like those constant little jabs, they're going to chip away at a person's sanity. And they're going to chip away at your relationship and how you view your partner. But
Absolutely.
but like the tough thing about all these things are is like, how do you find a balance between like, I'm going to set these boundaries, I'm going to set these standards of how I should be treated and how I expect my partner to act and behave without controlling them and without making them feel like having them feel like they're walking on eggshells, like, oh, I better watch what I say when I'm around Doug. Oh, I better watch what I'm doing when I'm around Angela, because I know that if I do X, she'll do Y. And you don't like, so yes, you do want to have these standards and these boundaries, right? So you can create a very like healthy relationship with that person, but you also still want to have that playfulness with them. And I think when you have the bar too high and it feels like very like military,
Yeah.
then that's not fun for the other
Right.
person, where they're constantly worrying, like thinking of like, if I do this, will I get in trouble?
Right.
What am I doing that's getting me in trouble constantly with this person?
I think the playful banter is okay, as long as it's not like something disrespectful. Like you might be saying, "Oh, something bad." I don't want to bring up anything bad, but someone could be saying something super bad, but saying, "Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you." But
Well, there's like a difference between saying like, "Oh, you always lose the keys," versus, you're not that, you weren't that smart in school or something. Like there's a difference
That's what
of
I
like,
meant.
or there's something wrong with someone's body, or something that you would do to put that person down. Some people do that as a joke, and I don't think that's a joke. I also don't think it's appropriate if people are in a relationship and they comment on other people. Like if they're watching TV and be like, "Oh, that girl has a nice ass," or if a girl
Yeah.
says, "Oh, that guy's attractive."
Yeah.
I agree
I
with
love
you.
my
That's
husband. I only want my
disrespectful.
husband. I will never say that. I don't even look at guys, but
Yeah.
I don't say that, and he doesn't say that to me. And I think something too is with setting the standard is being the example of not doing certain behaviors and
Yeah.
seeing how they
And
like
just
that.
because they're like a celebrity doesn't mean it doesn't like give you a rite of passage to say it.
Absolutely
Because
not.
I've heard the argument where it's like, well, I say that about this person because there's no way, I'm ever gonna fuck Ben Affleck, or I'm never gonna fuck Kim Kardashian, or any of these things. But like, it doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, like anything can.
They're
fucking
real
First of
people.
all,
My
anything
husband
can
dated Chris
happen.
Brown's mom, okay? Like,
Yeah.
they're real people. They're
Yeah.
not
Anything can happen.
aliens. They're
Like,
real people.
after COVID and having the world get locked down for 2 years, dude, I truly believe anything can happen. And it's just even if you do, I'm not saying like you don't have to think like other attractive people exist, right? It's obvious. Like other attractive people exist. But you don't need to say that out, especially in front of your partner.
I just think
Like that's not
it doesn't
cool.
matter if
like
they're
even if you do think they're attractive.
I just think that's
Even if they're on
disrespectful.
TV.
And
Yeah.
but there's some relationships that they do that, and they'll, a guy will be like, "Oh, this girl's pretty and this and that," and they're fine with that. But I just think, certain things aren't good for a relationship, and
Yeah.
that's one of them.
100%. I'm with you every way on that. So, Dad, do you have anything else to say
No,
on that?
I agree with everything you guys are saying.
Okay, so let's go ahead and roll into the next one here, and this is where things might get a little spicy, and that's really just asking ourselves, are traditional gender roles necessary for a successful relationship nowadays? What do you think? What do you think, Andrew? So for me, okay, I'll take this. So again, I'll repeat the question: are traditional gender roles necessary for a successful relationship nowadays? And when I think of the word traditional, when I hear that, it's like, okay, man goes out and works, woman stays home with the kids. That's like a traditional gender role. I'm actually not a very traditional guy. I have no shame admitting that if my girl was making way more fucking money than I was, I have no shame in being a stay-at-home dad. Obviously, like if we were to have kids, you know, she would have to be home with the kid and like breastfeed and what's that. But like, screw the hypothetical. Say we're like over that point. Like, to me, traditional things like I never who made this traditional rule, right? Like, I'm not a very traditional guy. And I don't feel like traditional roles are necessary, but one person does have to stay home with the kids and like cleaning up the house and taking care of the home, hold that part together. And one person does have to be out there working. But nowadays, I don't think like it strictly has to be, okay, guy goes and works 50, 60 hours a week, makes all the money, and woman sits at home and cleans.
I think it 100% depends on every single couple because every couple's different. Mm-hmm. There could be a situation where it's the girl and she has a sugar daddy and they're happy. There could be a guy where it's a 50-year-old woman and a young guy. Or there could be one where it's two people that want to split everything 50-50 and they're happy with that. And I just think every couple is different when it comes to what makes them happy.
Tadd's blushing over there.
No, I'm just
He's
telling
blushing.
you how I am. I would not like my woman making more than me.
I know
it
you
would
wouldn't.
drive me nuts.
I know. So you're someone who
like,
you're just someone who agrees that like traditional gender roles are kind of necessary.
I just feel the man should lead. The man should be the protector.
But that's not how it is anymore. It's not the fucking mid.
It may not be, but that's what I'm saying.
We're not
that's how I feel.
Yeah, but we're not living in medieval times anymore.
But
like there was this one podcast last time, like you guys were talking about like how a woman's value goes down like as they get older. That's like some medieval thinking, bro.
Yeah,
that's some mid. That's some fucking.
What the fuck?
That's some mid. That's some.
All you need is plastic surgery.
No, let me finish before I say something.
Let me just say, like, that's some medieval type of thinking. Well, it's like as soon as she gets old, she's not worth anything.
Well, I don't exactly think that, but a woman's value does go down as they get older. I hate to say it, it does. Like, think about it. First of all, like usually when women get older, they start becoming set in their ways if they had like a bad relationship past, so that they're like more set on their ways. Mm-hmm. The other thing is it's harder as they get older. It's more dangerous for them to have children.
Yeah. But if your girl already has kids, though.
Well, I didn't know what we were talking about, but
yeah. So you're saying, okay, so let's just paint the picture. Single woman, no kids. If you're single and with no kids, the older they get, you think their value decreases.
Well, who are the men? Because A, there's young guys that like older women, and then B,
there's not as many older
but
older
there's
guys
also
that like younger women.
Guys that like, are attracted to things like a woman is very accomplished in life, and I think back before there was plastic surgery where women can look I see women that have money that are in their 50s and 60s that look better than 30-year-olds that, don't get work done.
Well, first of all, let's be honest. Most of those guys who like older women for other things too.
That's
other
true.
benefits. And
that's true, but
do I need to say them? Do I need to say them?
The MILFs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those guys
like
who like MILFs, like if they're really targeting MILFs, I'll tell you how they think. One thing, they think, oh man, I'm younger. It's going to be easy to get laid by this older woman. Two, this older woman makes money. Like she can help me out with things. That's how a lot of those younger guys that like older women, that's how they think.
The fucking bums, basically,
but
is what you're saying.
Yeah, but most of them I don't think are saying, hey, damn, man, that 60-year-old woman, I think I'm going to be married to her. And the guy's like 20 years old. Come on.
Yeah, I think it is. The older you get, it is harder to date for anybody.
It is, for everybody.
Because you become more jaded. You have more baggage. You have more past. You
have more rules, but it's harder for women. It is harder for women.
What rules?
Well, like things you're not going to deal with.
Standards.
Because
you have more
because
standards.
You've been through stuff.
How about this? Is it safe to say the older you get, the higher you raise the bar in setting standards for your relationship?
Absolutely.
I think so. Because when I was younger,
wait. No,
I
don't fully think so.
Hold on, because I just going to say this real quick and I'm going to go. I think so because when I look back at all my past relationships, I didn't know what kind of standards I should set for myself or for the person I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something, for me personally, the bar first initially got set once I actually had a serious relationship, and then it continued to raise after that.
That's for you personally.
Yeah, that's for me.
And that's how it will be for me too. But I know there's people who will be like, damn, I'm lonely. I just need to get somebody. There's so many people who do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Desperation happened. Yeah. Like the older you get, I wouldn't even say even the older you get, the longer you go without being with anyone, with being single, the more desperate you get. And it actually ends up fucking you over because you say you go like 10 years without like having a partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the first person that shows they're even remotely interested in you, you fucking smother them. I've seen it happen before to some of my really good friends. They just, as soon as they get a little bit of attention from a woman, they come off as so desperate and they don't give them any room to breathe that that other person just ends up leaving. It doesn't last.
Well, I guess it also depends on what kind of person that person is. Like, what if you're gone for 10 years because you're like doing stuff to better yourself and you're focused on what you're trying to accomplish? You know, then you get to a point where like I have stuff to lose, like because I stepped up. You know, I'm talking as like someone who went out and did stuff, so they're gonna have probably a higher standard. You know, but if you're someone who's the same old thing, you're going to the bars all the time or whatever you do, playing video games all the time, whatever you do. No offense to anyone who does that. Hey, I'm just saying, like if you're not doing anything to better yourself and you're not with someone, and then someone comes around and gives you attention, well then that's more likely to happen. You know, that's just my point of view. What do you guys think?
I think the dating world fucking sucks, and I'm really happy that I'm married. And because I told my husband, we always have to figure it out because we're never gonna go back to what's your favorite color. Like just having to meet people just sucks so bad. And the thing about it too is because it's such slim pickings out there, you'll vibe with someone just a tiny bit, and then think like it's like should I kind of talk to this person or not because we kind of vibe, but there's nothing else out there, you know. And then I met my husband where we matched perfectly, but other than that, it just sucks because it's really slim pickings out there.
Well, first of all, I don't believe it's slim pickings. I think everyone's delusional with what they're looking for.
I actually agree with that. Agree with that. People's like that. I don't want to say their standards are too high.
I will,
but they are to a degree,
especially a lot of women's these days.
Yeah, damn.
The thing is, like, you can.
Can you get another Topo Chico? Yeah, I'm down there. Sorry, did I interrupt you? We're going off.
People can go. There's more single people right now than there probably what has been in the last 10, 15 years. The problem is, you know, some people are delusional, and a lot of people have given up on the dating game because how people are these days, you know?
Can I just say that I worked at Match.com, and
what the fuck? What did you do at Match.com?
I actually answered their 1-800 number.
Oh God, I don't even.
Let's
I do want to hear the stories.
Just think of the people that call the 1-800 number. First of all, we got calls every single day where it was a problem that go, hi, I have a technical issue. I've sent out 100 emails and I haven't got any responses. And
those were a guy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was all guy. And you're not supposed to, but like I would look in and write, and it would be this like really unattractive guy that writes all these women that look like supermodels. And it's like it's not a technical issue. No one wants you.
Yeah.
Dang, you ruthless.
No,
right. but yeah. Oh, sorry, sir. It's actually not a technical difficulty. You're just fucking ugly.
Well, and they blocked it. Listen, they blocked it because I didn't want to deal with it, so I just sent it to the technical team when it wasn't a technical issue, and they blocked it where I had to explain to them that there wasn't you're telling me that I sent out 100 emails and no one on a daily basis.
You could have said, well, you know what I would do is I think you need to work on your pictures, maybe get a little better lighting or something.
I try these people.
Maybe try a different angle.
They want a Pamela Anderson, and they look like the stereotypical truck driver, and they're like, I've been on here 10 years and I haven't found a date.
Right.
Well, you know.
That's because they're looking at porn every day. Like porn, if you're not out there actually getting any pussy or trying to pursue any women and you're watching porn every day, that's how you get that delusional mindset. Because you're just feeding your consciousness and your brain that shit. These insanely hot chicks, right? Which I've been bartending for a long time. Those porn star level hot chicks, they only come around every so often. I mean, they're really like, those chicks, you're like, damn, that chick's like, you look at her like, yup, porn star level.
Yeah,
right there. But like, those are the type of chicks that most guys want nowadays. And it's just not, they want the unicorn. And it's just not.
They want the one that look like the Russian girls that you talk to.
It's the guys have the same.
Oh, you know what? I got something else to say about porn. I was thinking about this. There was this one podcast we did. Oh, it was when we were talking about body counts between men versus women, and how basically how society feels, how the higher the body count the man has, the more of a man he is, and the more valued he is. And hold on, let me finish quick. And there's this double standard here. Guy fucks a lot of girls. He's fucking a king. He's the man. He's all this shit. Girl fucks a lot of guys. Well, she's a slut. You know, she gives up too easy. All this thing. Well, with that mindset, the more from a guy's point of view, the more girls you fuck, the more of a man you are. That would make male porn stars the top tier men that you could be. When I would actually argue that they're the lowest. And that goes for both men and women, porn stars.
I don't feel.
I think people value a man more by how much money he has versus how many girls he's had sex with. Yeah. I think that's the ultimate thing that people be like, oh, he's a boss by how much money they have.
Now I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call your ass out now. You told me when you met Toxic King, there was a girl like doing something to him, and you're like, oh, hell no, I want that guy. He's sexy. Because women are attracted to guys that are already validated by other women. And I can tell stories about myself. I remember when I was younger, I was with, in high school and stuff, I slept with a couple girls, and the friends would be like, oh, I heard this and that. Next thing you know, I'm sleeping with them. Or I used to go to this one bar.
They hear Tad's got that dick.
I don't know what they hear, but I just know, like, what happened. And I remember I used to go to this one bar. I used to bring different girls there. Next thing you know, the bartenders and servers there wanted to hook up with me. It's because they see that women are like, oh, what's special about this guy,
Okay, first of all, let me correct my story, Ted, and tell you that there was a girl that came up and like shoved him or whatever, and he said, oh, that was someone I talked to a while ago. But then there was someone, because we hung out the whole like day and a half, that kept calling him back to back to back to back. So I finally was like, okay, can you answer it? Because I wanted to know. And he answers it, and she goes, you just fucked me right before you got to the club. And instead of, right, I was happy that happened, though, because I didn't say anything, but I made a mental note, like, good to know. And we waited then for a week to do that till I visited him, because that made me not do that. So, no, that didn't. But it made me wait.
You still stuck around with him, and you're with him now, married.
Okay, first of all, I tried to friend zone him, but even though that was not like fully, but I was like, oh, you can be my fake boyfriend.
Let me tell you something.
Okay, that's not getting friend zoned.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Getting friend zoned is.
I obviously played my cards right. We got married after a month, so.
But you knew within probably like 3 seconds, you knew what you wanted from him.
It was okay. It was hard. No, it was hard because I was so attracted to him, but then I realized he was the same person I had blocked 3 years ago. And so it's like, is it the new? And I was tripping balls on acid. So it was like, I just saw this. Yeah.
Damn, that dude made it out the fucking block zone.
What's crazy about meeting him?
That's even more intense. Actually,
you met him before and blocked him?
No,
yeah.
I was on.
He made
I was
it
on
out
acid.
the
I was
block
on
zone.
shrooms. Yeah, no, you didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
We met on Instagram back when I was an alcoholic, and we met at Bunkers, and we made out the whole time. And then we were talking a little bit here and there, And I thought he took too many selfies and was just too into himself, even though I was attracted to him. And then I met someone else, and he's like, oh, I don't care if you have a man. He didn't got to know, and I blocked him.
I see.
And I would have never thought that's the guy that I ended up marrying. So if there's anyone out there that there's someone on your blacklist, they may be your husband.
They may be the one.
And I approached him 3 years later. I didn't know it was the same person for like at least an hour.
Yeah. Until you try to get your Instagram. It's like, I can't find you on here.
His name, it was because he went by his nickname to me, but then someone called him his real name an hour later. I'm like, wait, is that the guy? And I went in the bathroom and I looked on my block list and he was there. And I was like, oh my God. And then I had to decide, is he the guy that I think he is now? Or is he the guy that I didn't want anything to do with that I blocked? And then I was like, well, I was bad 3 years ago because I was an alcoholic. I can't judge anyone. So I went with him. But there was a moment where I couldn't, and like, what would I be doing right now?
Probably still going to the club, trying to find the love.
Doing some twerking or something.
Yeah. Like going back to what you were saying about like older people dating, do you feel like when someone says, oh, this person settled for someone, that it's easier to settle when you're older because you feel like you might not have that much time to find someone else?
I do. I think so.
Or do you think the term, like when just the term settling is an overall myth?
I think a lot of people have settled.
I think it's both in some ways. You know, I kind of think like maybe when you're older, maybe you're just not as picky. Some people, they'd be like, okay, well, you know, I'm trying to grow old with someone, and you know, looks and stuff. But do you want? You want to know like the personality and make sure you have a good connection.
So would you settle for someone just for the sake of not growing old alone?
Hell no, but that's me. I want to.
I don't know. You say that now, dude, but I honestly, I don't know. I think I like, even for me, like, I don't know. I'm lucky. I got engaged, so I got someone to go old with.
Settle. So there can be multiple ways of settling. Settling to someone that doesn't have the financial goals that you want, someone that you don't have the sex that you'd want, settling that you don't have the type of connection, like what, or just settling in any way.
Well, I don't like financial goals. I wouldn't consider that settling because this is how I think. I think I can accomplish whatever I want. Yeah. So like, whoever's with me, if they're with me, if they support me, we're gonna make it. Let's say the sex isn't good. You can make that better. You can learn each other and get better.
You can make sex better. Like, if the sex isn't good, I would say that's probably one of the easiest things to improve on. The practice makes fucking perfect. All right. If you're not satisfied with the sex life with in the relationship that you're in, then you guys gotta start banging, like, I mean, multiple times a day. Talk to them. Tell them what you like. Tell them what you don't like. Or her, whatever it is.
The only thing you can't really change is if it's the chemistry, like that.
Well,
and like
one thing
someone's personality to a degree. Like, you can definitely help like influence and change their behavior, but people are who they are. Yeah. It's like there's gonna be a degree of personality where you're not gonna be able to change.
Yep. I agree with that.
I think one of the most important things when someone starts dating someone or taking them serious is to see how they act when they're angry, because that can literally make or break how you feel about someone. If they're like immature or they, you know, act out and say, like, don't give a fuck. And I just really think that with a man or a woman, how people act under stress and when they're angry really defines their character.
So to find that out, because I'm someone who doesn't get angry that easy, you're gonna like press buttons until that person gets angry?
No, that's the thing that sucks is sometimes, I mean, people don't find out for a long time, but I think that is important.
But maybe you like, because I don't get angry very often either, but I get kind of sassy.
Oh God.
Sassy. Give us
an example. I could see that with that fucking smile.
Let's hear an example.
That's my toxic thing. Like when I'm angry, like I'll never like, I'm not type to yell or like really fucking snap for someone, but I get like irritated and I get kind of sassy. I can't do it right now, but I know that's what I do.
I could see that.
I just like, if I'm angry, I try to just leave the situation until I calm down. So that's just how I am. I mean, but when I do get angry, it's bad. But it just takes a lot because I don't feel like I need to waste time.
Well, it
and
depends
energy
what
to
you're
get
getting
like that.
angry about too, right?
Yeah.
Are you someone who's short tempered and like getting angry over like really stupid
Those
shit,
are the worst
like
people to be
really
around.
small things? Yeah. You are who you surround yourself with, and if you're in a relationship with a partner that's constantly getting angry, you really gotta reevaluate things
Mm-hmm. I agree.
because they ain't gonna be very good in the long term.
I know. I think that's so important. Aaron's really chill, and I think that is so important.
Right. All right. So let's keep things going here. Can relationships thrive without clearly defined standards and expectations?
No.
You don't think so?
I think you have to have your own. I don't know about expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I guess you'd have to elaborate on what you mean by that. Well, if it's like
Well, those are going to be
expectations.
different for everyone.
Okay.
Right.
But I mean,
But can you and your partner really thrive and grow together if you do not have any expectations you expect them to meet, whether that be financially, emotionally? Like, I know my girl has expectations of me that I need to meet for us, especially with us having a kid on the way.
yeah.
You know, and I don't look down on her for that or like criticize her for it. Like I tell her this all the time. She should have expectations of me. She should hold me to high standards, just like I should do that to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should want to make your partner like the best version of themselves as you can, and the only way you're gonna do that is by actually making sure they take some fucking accountability and making sure they meet these expectations that you
So
have.
you agree with me that if they don't have standards or expectations, it's not going to work.
Oh, that's another thing Grant
Right?
Cardone said, which is really good. He was talking about people that you have in your life and that you work with in business, but I think you can also apply it to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that never holds themselves accountable and blames everybody else, run, because you're going to start being the person they blame everything on.
Yeah. Keep those fucking people away
Yep,
from me,
I know
dude.
about that.
What? Damn, what was that side about?
Oh, none.
I know, damn.
Anyways,
What was that about? You were someone who was not accountable?
I've dated people like that.
You've dated people that have no accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what that was like?
It was annoying.
It's all your fault, Tadd.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like,
You don't have to say
it's,
any of this person's name, but just tell me what it was like and what that did to you.
Probably most women.
it just drove me nuts. It's like, come on, grow up. You know, like that's where like as a man, like you are accountable for everything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and some people just they don't think like that. But I feel that they'll learn someday. People who think like that.
Maybe. Who knows? Okay, we'll keep things going here. Let's see what I got here next. Give me a second. Okay. Are men and women equally responsible for upholding standards in a relationship? So, to break that down question even further, basically what I'm asking you is, should the man be the one to set the bar and expectations for that relationship, or should the woman be the one that sets the bar and expectations in the relationship, or should it just be equal and they should each have their own set of standards? But if they are just equal, like reality is though, as I think about it, chances are nobody's ever gonna have like an equal set of standards, right? People's levels of discipline are always different. People get upset about different things. People have higher standards when it comes to like specific things. Like, for example, for me, like I'm a fucking gym rat. I have to work out like 6 days a week. You know, I have to take care of my physical health. My girl, she doesn't work out at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's lucky though. Like she's just been no, I give her shit for this all the time. I'm like, she was able to just be hot her whole life and have like a lot of self-confidence with her physical appearance and was able to eat whatever she wants, drink whatever she wants, do whatever the fuck she wants, and not like suffer any consequences. I wasn't like that. I was chubby growing up. I was really like insecure with how I looked. So I gained that confidence through like going to the gym. So I have a higher set of standards and expectations when it comes to like taking care of your physical health than she does.
Yeah, I think both partners should have standards and expectations for each other. I think it should be equal. What do you think?
I think it all depends. So when you were talking about that, I was thinking about in my relationship and being the bigger person, where at first I would be like, you're the husband. I would, think he's the husband, you should be the bigger person if we're in a fight. But then I realized I've been in therapy for 10 years. He's never been in therapy. I'm the one that's been taught all this stuff.
Like, it's easier for you to be the bigger person
well,
than it is him.
I wouldn't say easier, but
but
I've
you
been
have the
taught
skills. Yeah.
And he hasn't. And so I think depending on the circumstance, there could be people that have more experience than in one aspect than the other. So even though it's hard and me thinking, well, he's the husband, he should be the bigger person. Well, he hasn't been in therapy for 10 years. I'm the one that needs to set the standard of how things are. And
show him show him the tools that I have and the skill set that I've acquired to deal with these things that he doesn't.
Yeah, a lot of setting the standard is just leading by example, as hard as it may be in whatever, how you treat each other, or
100%.
going out of the way being there, or, sharing, or whatever it is. I feel like people treat you how you treat them in a lot of ways, not all the time, but
isn't it amazing how like everything almost boils down to just the golden rule, something that we're taught as kids: just treat others the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but yet nobody does. But as soon as you get older,
work that way.
Nobody does.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
I mean, for some people, but there's just people who are just ruthless, and you can be all cool to them and whatever, and they're just still gonna be douchebags. It just doesn't work that way.
But even though it doesn't work that way, does that mean you can't act that way when you're walking around the world and navigating yourself through this life?
Well, I still believe that people should do that, but I'm just saying, just because you treat someone with respect and kindness, you can't expect it back, because it might not happen. Depends on the person.
That's one thing that it says in the Bible, that it's easy to be nice to someone that's nice to you, right? Anybody can.
Yeah.
But the real challenge and the test of character is how you treat someone that isn't nice to you, that's rude to you. That is the real test of character.
That's when you
and because it's hard.
Kill them with kindness.
That's something that's actually a skill I'm like really grateful for. Like, I've gotten like through bartending, and customer service. I feel like people in customer service, they're constantly getting like shat on by someone who's pissed for whatever reason. They come in hot, they come in edge and like ready to push off. And like, if you just kill them with kindness, they like don't know how to act, because they like came in like wanting to fight, and then you don't feed into it, and it's like they don't even know what to fucking do.
A lot of times they'll apologize, though.
Yeah.
I actually have a story. When I worked at Cargo, I read the 4 agreements right before I got to work, one of them, and it said, don't take anything personal. And I said, that's going to be my goal for the day. No matter what, I'm not going to take anything personal. Of course, I was tested. This guy at the bar asked what IPAs we have, and I didn't know. And he's like, how are you a bartender and don't know that? And was like putting me down and stuff. Yeah. And normally in a situation, if someone's rude to me, I would hide and not be around them. Well, I was like, I'm not going to take anything personal. So I went and I purposely was like wiping down by them and picking up and purposely going by, and then eventually said, can I talk to you? And I said, yeah. And he said, I just want to apologize how rude I was to you. And I said, no problem. I said, honestly, I just read a book called The 4 Agreements, and I'm really happy that you were rude to me, because it challenged me to take it personal or not. And he's like, yeah, it was nothing personal. And I think that is a big thing too, is not taking things personal. Everyone's going through things. And you always
got to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Because you never fucking know. But why didn't you know what IPAs they had?
Because I didn't care. I just cared about looking cute and getting there.
Yeah. That's how most girl bartenders care about, to be honest. Not all, but that's how most of them care about. I still believe a lot of people disagree with me with this, that like it's a lot easier and you get tipped a lot better being a girl bartender.
Sometimes he would make more than me. He get better tips than me. And I look a little different now because I'm 8 months pregnant. I would have a cute outfit on, my fake, whatever.
Your fake.
A lot of money that I spend look like this, and Tadd just.
Well, my theory when I bartend, this is what I did when I bartend. It's like I just want the people to feel like they're VIP. Like I want them to feel special. I try and say their name. I get them pumped up. I was like, oh man, Joe's in the house. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like and they're like,
and they feed into that.
They feel
they
that.
love that stuff. Make your customers feel like they VIP. But how do you make your partner feel like she or he's the VIP?
Well, I think
because I don't think a lot of people do that nowadays. Like a lot of people, they don't gas up their partner like they should.
Why? Yeah. See, I think that's a big problem, is because like I look at my husband and I think he's super sexy all the time, but I make sure to tell him that, because I think, a lot of people think, the person already knows, but that's the thing that people have in the beginning of relationships that they find so exciting, is someone always being like, oh, you're so sexy, this and that, but then they just stop. And that's the thing, is you can keep it going, but it's a choice.
I think it's little things. For example, like I had a couple girls do this, actually several.
Damn. If you see
they would just like
them
they would like clean my house, and I come home and it was clean. To me, that made me feel special. Like
like they were gassing you up.
Yeah,
they were treating you like a high value.
But that's like
king.
Really nice. Or if they cook like food, or to me, little things like that is awesome. Like that's all guys want. Something simple like that. Like I don't know what you could do for girls. Maybe I don't know how girls are these days, but with that stuff, but maybe if you like brought your girl when you're with the girl, like just brought her home like a special little gift or something, just out of the blue, not that she asked for it or something, or your partner or whatever, something that they like. Or I just think little things, to me, little things are big.
They add up,
because if you feel like someone's thinking about you, like in a positive note, I think it feels good.
Yeah, everyone wants to feel like everyone should make their partner feel like the most special person in the world, because they are. That's your partner. Out of all the people on earth, that's the one person that you're choosing to go at life with.
Yeah. It's funny how like over time though, like most people don't make them feel like that they are the most important person in the world. They actually do the opposite.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think we touched on before when I was on a podcast, but it's true. When you have a best friend that's like the same sex best friend, you would never put them down. Yeah. You're there for them. But for whatever reason, I see that a lot in relationships. When it's, someone that you're dating, you'll be like, oh, you think you're that smart, or you think you're that attractive? Why would you say you want to make them feel the best?
Yeah, I think it's because we're comfortable, right? Like when you first get in a relationship with someone, chances are you're not putting them down, right? You're only gassing them up. And to a certain degree, it's like for me at least, I'm one of those people, it's like, if I don't like you, I don't talk to you, but like, if I give you shit, I do like you, but my whole point of all this is like, a lot of people are too nice to just start shitting on someone they don't know, or they're not comfortable like being mean to someone. And the longer you're with someone in a relationship and the more time you spend around that person and you're with that person, the more comfortable you are to say mean things. It's easier for you to kind of shit on them because you feel like your relationship's like at a point where you can say those things and it doesn't matter, or you have the right.
Oh, so that's what.
Excuse me. Or you have the right to.
Do you do that?
I have before,
I think
it's something I try not to do anymore, but I'm only human, I fucking make mistakes. Yeah. Like, and I think that's very common for most people. It's to start shitting on their partner, or like once they get to that level of comfort.
I think one of the biggest problems is a lot of people view, like when they've been together for a while, they view their partner as competition rather than to get like So if someone gets like a
I
promotion
kinda
at their
do that.
job or they do that, it's like they feel kind of salty about it. And it's like, why the fuck would you feel salty?
Yeah.
They're your other half. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like
I-
you take a win,
but-
we take a win. Why
Yeah.
would I be
Hold
salty?
on, Tad's salty because you're making more money than he is.
But
you don't like that.
Well, I would probably be like, "Hey, that's awesome," and then in my head, I was like, "Okay, here's what I got to do. I can't have this. I gotta step my game up." That's how I would think. You know, if a girl I was dating started making more money than me, or was making more money than me, because I just feel like I should be making more than whoever
Well,
I'm
it's
dating.
see, I'm coming at a point where I'm married, so we share everything. We share bank accounts, we share a bed, I like every single thing. We feel like we're Abby and Brittany. We share everything. So when you're at that level though, where you share everything, you wouldn't be, if they take a win, you feel like it's a win too, rather than thinking of it competitively.
Not if,
Nope,
not if they're
I'm a
making
man.
more
I'm
money.
competitive. And first of all, here's the other thing. Maybe you're not like this, but I think the majority of women, if they make more, they think that's their money. Like a lot of them don't share.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I make more. I can
Yeah.
buy more.
I actually
you
think
know?
I agree with you on that. Like a guy's mindset, like a guy wants to make more, but he also wants to give more with that.
Well, it's not even just
Yeah, it's for, like,
promotion,
your
just
whole family, like-
anything. Like if someone, you know, if someone says, "Whoa, you're attractive," not like the opposite sex where it's weird, but I'm just thinking where like someone gets a compliment, like "Wow, you're smart," or say something good about you. The person is like, "Oh, well, they're just saying that because," like I've had guys I was with before, if someone says I'm smart, they're like, "Well, yeah, they're just saying that because they want to hook up with you," and it's like, no, I'm fucking smart. Someone can say that I'm smart.
But if
But
there's
they're-
a dude
Fucking
saying that
hater.
though,
Girl.
if to be fair,
No,
if it
I'm
was
not
Yeah.
trying to be rude, but
what?
if
Like
there
a
was a guy
teacher?
saying that
A
you're
teacher in
smart,
school?
chances are dude.
That I
teachers
got
are
an
fucking
A?
weirdos. Yeah, are they college professors? Are we
yeah,
talking
the
college?
professors. I'm not saying you're not smart, but I know guys.
Yeah.
But
Like
just
we
if,
know men.
if someone
Yeah.
compliments you, they so not my husband.
Was it a
insulting.
college professor?
Yeah, a lot of people have said.
We got it.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, if someone compliments you, someone, you know, if it's inappropriate, I get that. But just trying to, like,
Well, maybe they should have said, you know, that was a very intelligent thesis. Instead of saying you're smart.
Oh, wow, that I really like
maybe
your
maybe if
thesis
they
statement.
narrowed it down more, then it'd be like, okay, yeah.
y'all are so jaded.
What? I'm just saying. I know how guys think.
Yeah.
Like, but they could be. They're probably serious too. But they're also thinking,
Like, yeah.
like this. You know, I'm gonna slide in
Like,
a
look, I'm not saying
compliment
like
and-
I'm not trying to discredit all the compliments you've gotten. All I'm saying is like Tad said, we know guys. I'm a guy. A guy will say anything to an attractive woman, especially when they first meet.
and
He's
that-
definitely not going to call him dumb or he diss him or anything.
well, some guys might. But you do it in a funny way, you know, like, oh man, you're stupid. You know, like just being goofy. Because some girls will be like, oh no, I'm not, and there you
Yeah.
go. You got your playful banter, and you're sitting there talking to them. You're smiling because you know it's true.
No, I'm smiling because I'm still thinking about how guys think if someone says something nice to you. But I guess that's
No, not all the
Something
time.
across
It's
the
not
board.
all the time, but many guys have hidden agendas. I'm just gonna let you know right now.
well, yeah, that's the truth. But I just think if people are in a relationship, they should always say positive things about each other and be excited when one person makes a goal, whether it's together or separately.
And I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, if I would be competitive, but I wouldn't be. I'm competitive at my job, but I'm not competitive like, oh, you know, I hope you break a leg or something so you can't work. You know, I'm not like that. I'm competitive like, okay, then I need to step it up. That's how I think. Like, I guess not everyone's like that, but that's just how I think.
Do you think your competitive nature could have a negative effect on a relationship?
Yeah, probably. But
And that's why we're having this podcast, right? Like,
But the thing is,
finding the balance of your competitive nature and not having that military like mindset of standard in a relationship.
But
you
I'm
know?
s-
Like, how do we remain competitive and not be be a fucking drill sergeant to the person that you're dating?
But you can be competitive in a good way. You know, I think competition's healthy.
But is it healthy in a romantic relationship sense?
Well, so
Like, obviously, competition's healthy when it comes to sports or business and all these other things. But I'm talking about in the context of being in a serious relationship, is there even such thing as healthy competition?
Let me just.
I have
break it
an
down.
example.
Let me just say what I was going to say
Okay.
real quick. Let's say I'm dating a girl and she starts making more money than me. My competitive nature is going to make me want to make more money than her. Now that helps the relationship because I'm thinking like I want to make more than her because I think as a man, like I should be the provider. And I feel like less of a man if my girl was making more than me. That's what I would feel like. So I want to be a provider, and that would bring more money into the house. And then more money can spend on the family and everything like that. That's how I would be thinking. So I think it could be good, but it also could be bad because I just feel like most men want to make more than their woman. Maybe not all, but that's just how I feel. At least how I was raised.
I think it can be something healthy if it's like, hey, we're going to Vegas in 2 months. Let's go to the gym and get on a diet and see you can get in better shape. You know, something fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's together. It's mutual. It's not this like low key where I'm like, I'm going to do better than you. And I'm thinking that and building that up. So if you do a like competitive thing, or like, let's stay away from social media, or let's see who can, you know, something to follow your goals together that you make fun, I think could be. But I think if there's like a hidden agenda or that makes you feel some type of way that is a separation rather than bringing you together, I think that's a problem.
Like you said, it just depends on the person, I guess. So, but I like your examples.
Yeah, I agree. Well, all right here. Well, we're coming down to the end here. We're almost an hour in, but before we send it off, let's try to tackle this on things. So everything that we've like talked about so far on this episode, like how can we help people communicate their standards, effectively, and so we can foster some of this growth and improvement that, like you were just talking about, like how can we have these healthy competitions in our serious relationships where it does have that sense of playfulness, or it's like, hey, let's see who gets in the best shape, or let's see who does this better, and the loser has to buy dinner. You know what I mean? Like, there's fun little things and competitions you can make with your partner that will help you have high standards, but also keep the fun going and keep that part alive and well in your relationship. Also, I think what you just said was just a great example of who can get in like the best shape before we go to Vegas.
I've won, but I'm not that good at it. We've tried before. Say if I could go like a day without complaining about anything. Like that's a fun thing. Like, okay, I'm not going to complain about anything today.
If you're on like
or
a
who
road trip or
complains
something,
first.
yeah.
Well, just in
or
general.
Acknowledging something that you do that's kind of toxic. Be like, I'm going to try not to do this today. Like me, I kind of get defensive. So like, so saying what you said, to be like, all right, I'm not going to take anything that my partner says. Like, I'm not going to be oversensitive. I'm not going to respond defensively today. Like a challenge like that. A challenge, something that like you actually like, a toxic trait that you have, and just be like, I'm not going to do this today.
Yeah, no, that can be really healthy. I think one of the biggest things too, like setting standards for a good relationship and just having a healthy connection, is to choose to be understanding and not get offended. Because there's a lot of times, I think in relationships, people get offended by stuff all the time that's so stupid, and they love you and they didn't mean it, and people are different.
We're just humans. Humans, dude, we're fucking pussies. Let's be honest. Like, every human's a fucking pussy. Someone says something, like, you get defensive. Fucking, you got, like, a job interview, just the smallest thing you care about coming out, you get anxiety. Like, every human's a pussy.
And I feel like
David Goggins.
I feel like
had to say it.
being able to
I love David Goggins, but I honestly don't know if he had some of the injuries he says he does. And this is someone who's listened to hours of David Goggins and fucking have mad respect for that dude. Listen to all his audiobooks. But anyway, like we don't need to talk about that now.
That could be another podcast.
Sorry. Go ahead,
no,
Angela.
it's okay. I forgot.
Gypsy.
Okay, hold on. I forget. Yeah, what the fuck? When you use my government name? Hold on. I forgot what I was saying. It was about standards, and I think one thing that I really want that is important is I'm doing this with my son, but I'm also doing this with my husband, is I want him to always feel a safe place to talk to me. Even if it's something that I would typically get mad at, I want to not have a mad reaction and be understanding, because that will train someone to be able to know, hey, I don't need to lie, or I don't need to, hide how I'm feeling. I can be open and have a safe place without her getting mad. And I think that really makes relationships better when you have an open, where someone can tell you something and you don't get, like, they can even tell you an improvement, like, hey, I'd appreciate if you pick up after yourself more. And without getting defensive, be like, you know what, you're right, I'm going to work on that. I think that will really help relationships choosing.
Yeah. People don't like getting called out on their flaws. I think that's the main reason why people get so defensive.
Why is it so bad?
Because they don't, I think a part of it's embarrassment, and they don't want to admit, they don't want to admit any, like, there's negative, like, characteristics about them or something that it is that they do bad or something so they can do better with it. A lot of it's just embarrassment. And that's, like, that causes a lot of defensiveness when you just ask them, like, hey, like, I would appreciate it if you do this more.
Yeah, it's not saying you're a piece of shit, it's just, yeah, that comes down to having a fixed versus growth mindset, but we can talk about that another.
Fixed versus growth.
One of the best books I ever read. Shout out Mindset.
Bam. T-Roll D,
Reading some
man.
books.
Double D, what's going on over there?
I'm just listening. I don't have Angela's speaking some good stuff, so I guess I don't have much to say
You've
right
known
now.
me for years. Have I grown a lot?
You have. You've grown a lot. A lot.
Okay. Oh, okay. I get it.
I didn't mean it that way. No, I just meant, like, your mindset's a lot different.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. Like, when you came on this podcast the first time, I did not expect you to say some of the things you said. Which,
good or bad?
it's good. It just caught me off guard.
This podcast?
You're talking about, like, a while ago? Like,
The last one.
Oh,
okay,
a week
yeah,
ago?
the last one.
Some of the stuff we were talking
Like,
about.
I can say the first podcast, I remember when, I don't want to say your name brought you over, just because I don't like saying names, but when our person that we all know, like, brought you over for the very first podcast we did, this is pre-COVID now, actually, so over 3 years ago. And you're a way different person from when I first met you.
Thank you. Marriage can change you.
Yeah, that's what I was almost thinking. Like,
and people can
and I mean
grow.
that in a really good way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's not easy to grow, but it means it's necessary if you want to attain certain things in life. Just like a good relationship. A lot of it, hold yourself accountable for shit and quit blaming the other person.
Exactly. And you should be with someone who's making you grow as a person.
And doesn't put you down, I saw this meme before that said, meet someone that wants to know your past so they can learn how to love you, not to shame you for it.
Yeah. Everyone has a past, and you should get to learn their partner's past. As much as, like, it can be difficult hearing about your partner's, like, past relationships. Like, you don't really ever want to hear about your partner's exes or, like, what they used to do and this and that. But it is critical and I would say necessary to really learn how to love that person and figure out how to treat them. And you can really, like, there's only a benefit to learning about somebody's past, and if you want to have a successful relationship with someone, you should learn their past.
Well, and here's the thing too. Some people hear about the past and get jealous. They're not with them for a reason. Obviously, if it was great, they'd be with them. And I think learning what happened that they liked, what happened they didn't like, and a lot of it can make people who they are or why they have certain beliefs. And I think that's really important, that you can look at it without a judgmental standpoint and just accept and love them. If you can't accept someone's past, you can't be with them.
Right.
Because you're going to keep bringing shit up, and it just ain't going to work.
And everyone has a past, too.
Yeah.
Like, and there's, like, and be accepting of that. Like,
well, the other thing that I think is big in relationships, if there is something where you're angry about someone about it, and you forgive them, then you forgive them. Like, you do not keep bringing that shit up. Like, hey.
Women do that shit more than guys, in the sense of, like, bringing the past up.
They'll be like, "Oh, we're all good." Next thing you know, like, you get in a fight. Well, yeah, I did this. I was like, I thought we were over this. Like, you're trying to make this argument worse.
I used to be the queen of that in my other relationships, and let me tell you, I would not have the marriage I have today if I still did that shit. Because something will trigger you, and you'll be thinking about something that happened a year ago, and it'll piss you off, and it'll ruin your day. And when you keep doing, when someone brings something up that you already talked about and you already dealt with a long time ago, there's nothing you can do about it now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, like, whoever's listening, you have to let that shit go and move on. And when you're done, don't ever bring it up again, because the only person you're hurting is yourself. The only person you're hurting is yourself.
Wise words from Gypsy.
Do I got some wise words?
Yeah.
Damn.
Did I not have any wise things to say?
What's that?
Did I not have any wise things to say?
Oh,
Tad?
you always do.
Oh, now,
We'll
see,
We'll
now
find,
you're gonna make me
some
blush.
clips.
Yeah,
Clips for you. For both of you.
Damn, it was awesome. Hour flew by quick as always.
Wow.
Do you guys have anything else to say, though? Anything else you want to add? Thank you for everyone in the chat tonight, everyone else tuning in. Like, so I wasn't as proactive about, like, reading some messages out in there as, like, I usually am, but sometimes I don't like to always big up the flow of conversation, you know?
Oh, well, we next time we got to get these people.
Well, there wasn't that many.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It wasn't a lot, but anything else you guys want to say before we send it off?
Nope. That's
You can have love. You just have to work on yourself and let your ego go and be understanding and trust the process and trust the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Tadd.
amen.
That says amen. Trust the process, trust the timing. Hold your partner to high standards, hold yourself to high standards, and take some fucking accountability. Guys, it's okay if your girl makes more money than you. That's a blessing, all right? Don't ever be jealous. We're not in medieval times anymore. You don't need some fucking 13-year-old girl. She's not the pedestal, okay? She's not. She's just not, okay? Like, a woman's age does not define the value, just like a man's bank account does not define his. And that's all I got. I choose a Doug Life. Doug Life chose me.